Hey, it's your old pal Slim, and this is 70mm podcast for movie lovers just like you. Disclaimer at the top of the show, we're not experts. I repeat, we're not experts, but we do love watching movies. With me each and every episode is my close friend and artist, Danny Haas.
Hello.
And our close friend and Western expert, Protolexis.
I'm in my prom.
Every movie that we cover is connected to a theme for that month, and this time it's Tape Deck Month. We're only choosing movies that have already been covered by our family of podcasts, and you can use the chapters in your podcast app to skip right to our main discussion. This week, it's my pick from 1993, starring Val Kilmer, Tombstone. Real quick before I get to my joke news segment. It's coming, by the way, and I hope everyone's ready for it. I just want to talk to our friend Run Mike D, host of Will Run For podcast on Tape Deck, but more importantly, a close friend of ours for many years. I wish I could have said this sooner on the show, but I love you. We love you. We'll always miss Erin, but we will never forget her. The MLB scandal, torpedo bats. This is sweeping the nation.
Yeah.
People are socking dingers at an alarming rate. Danny, you're a resident baseball statistician. What's happening in the league right now?
It's the shape of these bats have rocked. Yeah, they've shifted the girth of these bats to the sweet spots for people to hit the ball farther, and people are upset that people can hit wooden bats farther now. I think if it wasn't the Yankees, we wouldn't be having this conversation.
America's team.
It's amazing that the MLB has spent, I think it's estimated $100 billion on sabermetrics, getting analysts in there. How do we improve our a decimal point in this one player's slugging percentage?
Mm-hmm.
And no one thought to think, can we change the girth on the bats to get more dingers? No one thought of this. Maybe change the equipment.
Right.
It's amazing. This is what's great about sports and technology, and those who are willing to think outside the box. That's why we always need those who can think outside the box for innovation.
I keep picturing Jonah Hill in the like box with his giant teeth saying, "We need to fix the girth of the bats," and like Brad Pitt just nodding. Yeah.
As everyone knows, the innovation never stops with the MLB. We're going to get into Tombstone at the bottom of the hour for Val. Unbelievable timing. Val Kilmer passed away this morning. That was this morning, right? Like, what
day is it?
Yeah,
what are the chances?
Yeah, Wednesday.
Unbelievable.
April
we had already
2nd.
had this on the books for weeks. So we will obviously get into the Mount Rushmore for Val in the main discussion segment. I had some notes maybe for like post-show uncut, like our patrons get a longer uncut version of this show. We got to get into this Universal epic. Did you guys see that people are getting previews?
I'm
Friends?
not saying a word.
I think only just family are getting previews.
Word.
We're going to talk about it in the uncut. We might just go all Universal all the time.
I don't even work there and get fired.
He's getting a pink slip sent to his house. But real quick, I'll say hello to some new patrons since we last recorded. Maxwell, Seth, Andy, Bruce, Gambino, Robert, EA, and Denholm all became patrons over the last few weeks. They got access to those uncut, unedited, longer episodes. 70% of our patrons prefer those episodes when listening.
That's wild.
70%.
Wild.
And I'll say this much. It's a blessing because Spotify, our holy war against Spotify is not over. It's the holy war too, because they've been pulling some of our episodes on Spotify.
Yeah.
Even though I don't even host on Spotify anymore.
They're pissed.
I don't even think our Barbie episode is available on Spotify. So if you have the option to listen elsewhere, Pocket Cast is a great option. Great app.
Anywhere at this point.
Apple Podcasts, Overcast. Don't give them any money. I'm willing to bet none of the 3 hosts on this show pay Spotify any money. I would bet you that's true.
I'll take that bet.
Anywho, you guys watched a lot of movies.
We did
these last few weeks.
Yeah, we really did.
Where can we even start? The Electric State, probably where we should start.
That's exactly where we should
The release
start.
of the year. Proto, you of course were seated for The Electric State on Netflix streaming.
Yeah, I mentioned to my son there's a new movie coming out. I showed him the trailer for it, and he was like, all right, I'm in. I'll watch this. And I thought, oh, what have I done? I guess it's happening. And I watched it, and I had a good time. Before this, I was wondering, should I apologize for having a good time
Yes.
for watching this movie? Some people say I should. I think I started a little bit of a firestorm where I said that the Russo brothers made a better sci-fi movie than Bong Joon-ho in 2025, and that's not what anyone was that's not what anyone was expecting, but that's what happened. And you know what? It's just like, it's not a great movie, but it was a fun movie. It was better than I was expected. I had very low expectations. Chris Pratt, he's not the star, which is, is great.
Oh, really?
Kind of has, it's like a somewhat of a smaller role.
Okay.
He doesn't overwhelm the picture. But I just found like the world building to be fun. The movie was pretty, had a brisk pace to it. I thought it was, for a Netflix content machine,
right.
It's fine. It's fine. And I feel fine enjoying it.
Did you
I'm
see
not going to apologize.
Did you see the $300 million value in this movie?
That's a great question. No, I don't think I could spot all $300 million while watching. So there's some secret sauce going on as to how do they spend all that money?
Is this laundering? Are we catching wind on money laundering?
Did we just crack the case on how the Russo brothers got $350 million for this movie? That
maybe in 10 years there'll be a Max documentary that we can watch that explains it.
Actually, did you see the Max slight rebrand that he did? It's like black and more like the HBO logo. It looks pretty sick.
Really?
Yeah.
I haven't seen it.
The long game. Nobody would
They got us.
trust Max when they rebranded.
But
now you got all these people fawning over White Lotus and The Pit, and they're sopping it up, Max.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The apology tour. You talk about an apology tour. It's happening. We won.
Yeah.
I also saw that you watched Lost City of Z, which I was fascinated by. I wanted to talk to you guys about that because I had watched that, I think, for a Letterboxd show interview, and I was pretty blown away by, my main memory is like the ending of that movie. You guys like watched it maybe back-to-back weeks? Oh my God, Danny's holding up a physical book.
Yeah.
The Lost City of Z.
What?
Yeah. Same author from that Scorsese movie that I can't remember right now.
Killers of the Flower Moon.
Yeah, Flower Moon.
Oh, wow. Hello.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. So who watched it first? Was it Pro?
Proto watched it first, and I think you had. This is your second time viewing it, Proto? Maybe you told me to watch it. Oh, maybe it was Slim then. Someone had told me a while back, and then when Proto logged it, I'm like, hell yes, I need to watch this. Finally.
Yeah, this had been on my watch list for a while. I mean, it came out in 2016, so it's almost a decade old at this point,
Right.
which seems crazy. But it's directed by James Gray, who I feel like
Ad Astra.
I guess Ad Astra is his only other movie that I've seen. But for those that don't know, it follows this, I guess, based on a real person, Percy Fawcett, who went looking for a supposed lost city in the Amazon. But it's more about like his whole entire career. I found this movie incredibly gorgeous. Just the way it looked, the way it told the story. I think when it can tell someone's life story and do it in a way where it feels like it builds on the character and takes its time. And I felt by the end of this, I really understood who this guy was and like the motives and like it showed like the relationship with his family. And gosh, you read any reviews about this movie and a lot, like no matter what, everyone says like, whatever you thought of anything else, the ending is great. And honestly, like tears streaming down my face, the end of this movie, holy crap. It was like, I mean, it was an amazing experience, the end of this movie, how well it caps off. But I loved the whole thing. Like I was in love with this movie. I'd love to do it someday on the show.
Yeah. I mean, Explorers Month or something like that we could do, because it really is. It is. I think I avoided it because it was called The Lost City of Z, and I assumed it was like World War Z, but that's zombies.
Right.
I don't know. I think it just kind of fell into that vein for me. Like, I'm not watching this stupid movie. But and maybe Charlie Hunnam. I don't think I have a giant love for him. I don't know. So him leading it, but I missed that Robert Pattinson was in it. So I don't know. But Proto's right. This movie, I couldn't get over how well shot it was and how gorgeous it was of them just traversing the rivers and even the scenes where they come across the natives and their interactions with them. Charlie's really doing some heavy lifting in this movie, and I think he's kind of brilliant. And that finale, I put it on while I was working, and I think I got no work done for the whole 141-minute runtime because I couldn't like look away. But the finale, the ending of this, yeah, it just was. I couldn't look away. It almost wrecked me. It was incredible. It was a grid. It was a shocking ending because I thought it was going to go one way, and it kind of goes a different way, and I couldn't believe what I was watching and just performances. I mean, I think Tom Holland's pretty great in it too. I'm not going to knock him as well because I think he does a solid job as well. I mean, everyone in this is pretty great. I really want to watch it again, actually, now that I'm thinking about it.
You guys talking about it makes me want to watch it again. This might shock you, but this had the same cinematographer as Mickey 17. Darius Kanji. Also, listen to this lineup. He's also done Seven. He's done Uncut Gems. He's done Okja. He's done Panic Room.
Wow.
Quite a most popular list there. That cinematographer.
I mean, you could keep going. He did The Beach.
The Beach.
Alien Resurrection.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Funny Games. Very popular in the letterbox scene.
Yeah. Incredible.
Evita. Wimbledon.
And we have Okja coming right around the corner.
Yep. Let's see. There was something else that I'd written down. I mean, Danny, you were doing like a Tom Cruise run, which obviously amplified. Yeah, he did Risky Business. What was the reason you did Risky Business? I was
on Casey's Borny journey, the movie from 1983 that she hadn't seen. What a odd movie.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to talk about Risky Business without.
It's a safe space.
No. I'm afraid to shit on this movie, but I couldn't believe it. I was watching some of it. It was the whole. I mean, it really was. I think I said in my review something about like it was like a bizarro Ferris Bueller. But Tom is special in it. The whole story is insane to me of him turning his house basically into a brothel while his parents are gone for the week. It was bonkers. I mean, the iconic him sliding out in his underwear and button down is fantastic. Him in his whitey tighties and his glasses. The Porsche is great. I mean, I gave it 3 stars. I had a good time, but this movie is insane.
I feel like a lot of people will need to turn their houses into brothels to afford these $80 Switch 2 video games that are coming out.
Stupid ass.
$80 for the newest Mario.
I couldn't even keep up today with what was going on.
And then you watched Top Guns.
Yeah. I mean, I watched Top Gun Maverick because I was on a flight home and I was with Dale_A, our producer, co-host of Bad and Spider. He took me around. I was in Philly. He took me around the naval yards in Philly, and I got a hair, and I had to watch Maverick. But then I watched Top Gun today for Val. I have a jokey review I was writing for The Natural. I said, I was going to say, if you could be turned gay, Robert Redford in this movie was going to do it to me, because he is a gorgeous man playing baseball, and this movie perfectly lights him the entire time. And I'm like, I'm falling in love with Robert Redford right now because The Natural is incredible. I love that movie. Seen that. I think you might have to really kind of love baseball, but he's fantastic in it. And it's a gorgeous, I mean, it really is a gorgeous film. It's really shot quite well. And I love Robert in it.
He's older in this than I thought he was, and when I thought it was filmed.
Yeah. He's a little bit older. I love Robert though.
Scores don't really stick with me, but whenever that movie comes up, I can hear the theme of The Natural.
Yeah, it's incredible. Who did the score? Now that I can look at it. Composer. Oh, Randy Newman. There you go. Baseball lovers, you know? It's time. It's baseball season.
It's the season right now. Pardo, what else did you watch that you wanted to talk about? We can save the rest for the uncut post show if you want.
Yeah, so, you know, Slim, when you were on an assignment, I had like a 10-day flu experience. So I was trying to navigate, you know, my movie watching. You know, like when you have this idea that when you're sick, you're like, oh, if I was sick, I could just watch movies all day. Yeah. I was so sick, I couldn't like even watch movies.
Jesus.
It was very painful experience. But I was able to watch some.
You don't have a TV on the back of your toilet for you to watch? Or the front?
While you're on your knees.
Good idea. But I did get to watch Gladiator 2, finally.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
What the?
And, you know, I'll just say it's not very good. The critics were right. It's not very good. I mean, it looks great. Ridley Scott, he's done it again. He's made a beautiful movie, but the script is just a mess. It's embarrassing, honestly, the script of this movie. They should be either locked up or run out of town.
Holy cow.
But yeah, that's it. I mean, I watched a bunch of other stuff in a fever dream.
Fever dream. We'll get into it in our post show. We got a lot to talk about. We'll talk about me on assignment.
Yeah.
We got to talk about Universal Epic. I mean, there's a lot. It could be an hour of Universal Epic talk, folks. It's a theme park. Someone told me today that I didn't know what Universal Epic was. Who was that? It was on a work call.
Grace.
All right. Episode 258. The first of Tape Deck Month. I'm leading things off with Tombstone. Escape Hatch has covered it at some point in the past, so that was my excuse to finally have this movie on the show. And of course, we had inauspicious timing with today. As of recording, Val Kilmer has passed. So, Pardo, what is Tombstone all about?
Retiring at the age of 32, Wyatt Earp has decided to take it easy, put his guns away for good, and earn his fortune in the great state of Arizona. Along with his brothers Morgan and Virgil and their wives, they set off for the town of Tombstone to strike it rich. But what they find is a town run by the ruthless gang of cowboys. In order to maintain peace, Virgil becomes a marshal and enacts a law that will absolutely result in the deaths of innocents. Vowing to back each other up always, the three Earps and Doc Holliday confront the cowboys at the OK Corral. People die, and Wyatt vows to kill everybody else. Tombstone.
Also, not to continue harping on Spotify.
No,
I
please.
feel like a lot of the episodes that got dinged, and like when you get dinged by Spotify, most of the time they tell you what episode, and then you can like choose on a form like, I have the right to play this music due to fair use, discussion, critiques, which is how generally it works with podcasting. Like you can put something under as you're talking, we're critiquing it, we're having a discussion. I wouldn't call us critics, we're just having a discussion. But if I'm just like playing a clip for like 2 minutes, sure, that's probably a little bit too egregious. But we don't really do that. It plays when Proto does the synopsis. We're talking over it.
Right.
So Spotify, like, chill the F out.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like such a waste of time that we're getting dinged by these, I guess, like bots. Maybe there's like a bot scrolling through Spotify and listening. And then if it hits like a grace note thing in the amount of time, it's just like a bunch of BS. I'm just kind of over it. So again, don't use Spotify.
Yeah.
So my history with Tombstone, I've seen this movie a ton.
Oh,
I don't
really?
know if I had a DVD of this when I was working at West Coast Video. I have loved this movie. Spoilers. I have loved this movie for so long. It's one of my favorites, and I just have always watched it whenever it's on. This might be one of my earliest Kurt Russell memories. Definitely, maybe earliest Val Kilmer memory. So I'm not sure the first time I ever saw it, but it's definitely when I'm a teenager. Tape, TV, something. This also feels like one of those cable television rerunnable movies.
Yeah.
Proto, what about you?
Yeah, this was a movie when I was a teenager that I remember watching a couple times with my buddies. I don't know if we watched it because it was on cable or if we like found it, if one of us had a DVD and we would put it on. But yeah, kind of the same thing. I remember watching this a bunch, and I hadn't seen it in many years. And I will say that like returning to it after watching, 1,000 movies, it hit me different than I remembered, which was fun and exciting because I don't feel like I really totally remembered everything other than just like having an obsession with Doc Holliday, like everybody else.
Did you remember like a vague memory of dudes being hardcore dudes?
Yeah.
I think I'm in the same boat as you, Proto. I haven't seen this. I mean, I probably haven't seen it since. I haven't seen it a lot, if maybe twice. I know I first saw it in high school in my in the phase of like dude bros where I'm watching this or Boondock Saints or The Fast and the Furious was coming out at the beginning. So it was just kind of definitely like guys movies. I remember one of my friends, Aaron, growing up with, he was a massive Tombstone fan and he loved Doc Holliday. And so I always kind of think about him with this movie. And it's so funny today when, the passing of Val, his Instagram was Doc Holliday. And I was like, oh yeah, you're the reason I've watched this movie. So yeah, I haven't seen it a lot, but now that I've seen it after being like, a podcaster, I watched it differently. I felt differently watching it. It was very interesting because the Tombstone I knew felt very different this time around.
You're a seasoned podcaster. You were just on Austin Danger Pod to talk about Last Crusade this week.
Yeah, he threw up the bat signal for me, and of course I had to come running to talk about Last Crusade.
That's what got me on the Universal Epic kick, because I started that episode this week, and then you had mentioned that you had just talked about it on your theme park podcast, The Yeti is Still Broken. So I fired that up, and I was like, oh, I got to hear about Epic.
Save it for the uncut.
I will read your wife's review of Tombstone. 4 stars, by the way. Quote, your divorced uncle's favorite movie.
It's a good review.
It is a very good review. We usually do a Mount Rushmore related to the movie that we're covering, the top 3 of something. We have to do Val. Top 3. What's our Val Kilmer Mount Rushmore? If we had to put up 3 movies of Val, it's just 3 Val faces, but different characters.
I mean,
what would it be?
I feel like it's simple. I think it's Tombstone, it's Top Gun, and it's Batman Forever. For me, I said simple for me. That's what it feels like.
For the clarification, because I almost just played the yikes.
I'm not going to speak
I almost hit the yikes button again.
Yeah.
But I'll do it for the hell of it.
Pump it.
Yikes.
But I love him as Iceman. I think I watched Top Gun today. I love him in that film. He's a fun Batman, but Tombstone, Doc Holliday is so iconic.
Breaking the rules, we usually don't allow the main course to be included in Mount Rushmore.
I can't help it.
But we'll make an exception for Val. What's yours?
I recently rewatched Willow.
Oh, nice.
And I was really blown away by Val Kilmer's performance in that. I remember I wrote in my review that Val should have had like a franchise IP where he was a lead in the same way that like, you know, Harrison had Indiana Jones and Han Solo. Val deserved that because he really had the juice. Yeah. And like watching Willow, like his just charisma, him as like this, you know, fantasy character. I really love that movie. And I love him in it. And then another movie from my youth, The Ghost in the Darkness.
Oh my gosh.
This was a movie that I don't know why, but I saw it multiple times with my friends. We were just kind of
funny.
We were just kind of obsessed with this movie where it's Val and who is
Douglas?
Michael Douglas. Yeah, and they're like hunting lions in like the Sahara Desert or something.
I always get that confused with The Island of Dr. Moreau for some reason.
Really?
Or maybe I think The Ghost in the Darkness is the name of a documentary making of the Island of Dr. Moreau. I don't know. Very confusing.
Same director from Predator 2, Stephen Hopkins.
And the last one, I'm going to say The Doors. I went through a pretty heavy Doors, Jim Morrison obsession.
Interesting.
And I mean, I think he's just absolute dynamite in that as Jim Morrison. He just nails it. So those are my three.
The poster for that movie is so iconic.
Yeah, it's an iconic poster. Holy shit.
Moly.
I think about Val Kilmer more with The Doors than I think about Jim Morrison with The Doors.
Yeah, I haven't even seen The Doors. Never even seen the movie, but that's still like who I picture. Do you remember The Saint?
Yeah.
I think Danny in chat mentioned that. Yeah. Saint was like one of those like, man, this should be a franchise for my boy, Val.
I think the wig work in The Saint always blew my mind.
Some have said better than Mission Impossible wig work. Some have said. Not me. I think my main three, I'm kind of stunned that you guys haven't said it.
We left it for you.
I'm stunned.
We left it for you.
The Prince of Egypt.
God.
I mean,
you talk
about really an excuse for me to talk about the Prince of Egypt.
There can be miracles.
Man, I did rewatch that.
Yeah.
Batman Forever. I've been like...
That was a moment. That was a moment in time. God.
I've been rewatching it over the last couple of years. I gave it like 3 stars in 2020, and then I rewatched it, gave it 3.5 stars, and then I gave it 4 stars. And then, let's see, what did I give it?
You're 4.5.
4.5 right now as of 2024.
I respect that.
It's so good. It's so gorgeous. The 4K of that movie...
Yeah.
With the sets and the matte paintings. Where's our 8-hour Batman Forever documentary?
That's a great question.
Seriously.
What's going on? Like, I love Hellraiser, but like, where's the Batman Forever team to put that together? Jeez. My last one, what was it? I had it. Danny broke the rule, so I'll say Tombstone also. I feel like I'd get yelled at if I didn't say Tombstone.
Yeah. I mean, honorable mention for me also would be Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. Kiss Kiss is so funny. I mean, to me, it was
I don't know if I've ever seen that movie.
Oh, really?
I haven't seen it either.
Oh.
Yeah.
Does he play Elvis in that one? Or which movie is that? Isn't there like
2,000 Miles of Graceland, probably?
I must be thinking of some other movie.
It's not Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
Okay.
Kurt Russell plays Elvis.
Robert Downey Jr. There's like maybe it's a Quentin Tarantino movie or Quentin Tarantino adjacent movie where There's
Val
a
Kilmer
character who
Elvis?
plays Elvis in the background or like never appears on screen. Does anybody know what I'm talking about? Is that a movie? True Romance. Oh. Okay, thank you, Kirby.
Oh.
That's a movie. That's a real movie. Does Val Kilmer play Elvis?
He says it says The Mentor.
I don't know if he's ever called Elvis. I haven't seen the movie in 25 years probably. So
I mean, Slater's wearing some Elvis-ass glasses on that banner in Letterboxd.
have you seen Christian Slater recently? That dude looks amazing.
Yeah, he looks great.
He's aging better than 90% of Hollywood.
How does he do it?
That's a great question.
That's a great question.
Lip filler.
Oh.
Do you know anyone that does lip? You don't have to name them. Do you know anyone that does lip filler?
Yeah.
Okay.
You mean who does the injections or someone
on
who
this
has
podcast?
done to
Who
them?
Someone on
gets
this podcast does.
Oh my gosh.
I'm not going to name
Apparently
names.
apparently it's everybody.
I know. I follow someone that was like a trainer at a gym that I went to. We became Instagram friends, and she like started getting lip filler like overnight. And I was like, what is going on? This is before I even knew that like it was common. I don't know. I feel like it's common now. Is that real?
It's incredibly common. Yes.
But I mean, she got a lot. So like it almost looked like the Iron Sheik's tip of his boot. You know how it like curves up and in?
I don't want to get involved in this conversation.
We need to back out of this one.
I mean, it's your body.
Throw
your
it
body,
in
your
reverse.
rules. Okay?
Throw it in reverse.
Should I hit the yikes button for myself? Anyway, Val Kilmer. We'll start our discussion. You know, obviously we probably should start with Val.
Yeah.
Doc Holliday. I mean, it is an iconic performance, and I feel like maybe like Tombstone, in my opinion, is a largely underseen movie compared to other what I would call like macho actiony men movies. But Val is like legit insane in this movie. And like there's so many quotes from this movie that you probably have heard before. Maybe you don't even know that it's from this movie. And the way he delivers the lines, like I have like 15 Doc Holliday lines written down.
Yeah.
I like shudder to even do that. I mean, I can't do it as good as Proto, but Wyatt, I am rolling. Like his delivery is so weird. And I saw, I think we both, or the three of us watched that making of.
Yeah.
That was included in the DVD. And they talk about like the stuff that he did to hear someone who did the actual drawl that existed at that time. And he pretty much nailed it. Like it's as realistic as you can get. And I just love the character of Doc Holliday too. Like this kind of sort of friendless criminal who is dying, but he has this special relationship and bond with Wyatt Earp. And it was funny to hear them talk about it on the making of Doc because they called it like a bizarre, weird relationship.
Wink, wink.
In like 1992, that's how like they described it. But in 2025, it just feels like a really strong, cool dude friendship.
Right.
You know, it
totally.
just feels totally normal. And maybe that's just like how we viewed that in 1992. But I loved it. I love their relationship. I love the way Wyatt looks at Doc and they look at each other. Like when he is asking if he's heard of Doc when they first get to the town. And then when he arrives, he just has that like grin on his face. He's like, how the hell are you?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just so special. So like my main point is like Val, but also just the relationship between Doc Holliday and Wyatt Earp. It's just so like full of like love in a way that you would not expect in a movie about Wyatt Earp. You know? So unexpected and so like full of joy and love, especially towards the end when he hands him the book. How did you feel about, rewatching it in 2025?
Yeah, I remember, some of the lines because we would, say that, I'm your huckleberry. Everybody said that to each other. And I kept thinking while watching this that to me, this is like on par with Heath Ledger as Joker.
Oh,
yeah.
In terms of like someone finding a character and being like the perfect fit for it and just firing on all cylinders. It's like almost like you can't even give it a perfect, like 100%. It's like 110%. It's just like so hits every single marker, and there's everything about the story helps. Like, you know, in the documentary or somewhere I read that, Val said that, you know, he got all the best lines and Kurt Russell knew that. But he was like fine with it. I mean, his lines are incredible, but then like his delivery is perfect. I mean, even like this, like just the like, I feel like the lore that's built around him of just being like sick and sickly and looking like he's dying, like the color of his skin, like his sweat while drinking and playing poker, but then like never budging with anybody and like going up to their face. And then also like having like these parallel storylines running side by side, you know, as the movie goes on, it's more focused on Wyatt, but then like how it, you know, dovetails perfectly with him confronting Ringo at the end and really giving him like this amazing moment. It's really incredible. It's like, when I was just thinking of like, you know, it has to be up there with one of my favorite performances. Like there's not enough I could say about like how much I love him in this as this character.
There were so many moments of him just kind of standing off to the side or coming out of the shadows, and his posture and his kind of swagger. The first time he says, "I'm your huckleberry," I think he's talking to Ringo in the street maybe, or someone. It gave me the chills how it just kind of works. And his progression of being sick throughout the film from, I guess, it's so quickly spoken of that he has TB, tuberculosis, right? Is the longer stuff.
Yeah.
And it just kind of is allowed to just kind of be there. It's not like they had to like super explain why he's sick or how he got sick or how long he's been sick. It's like he's literally sick through the whole movie, just sweating his ass off when we first see him rob that first casino. I don't know if he robs it. I mean, he won the hand, but I don't know. He just plays it so cool, and I just want to be Doc Holliday without the tuberculosis.
I'm in my prom. Is that what Proto said to start the show? Oh my God.
That scene where he first confronts Ringo, his drip in that red vest that he has. I mean, he just looks so good in whatever he's wearing. I mean, even then, though, when they go to the OK Corral and he's sweating bullets through his undershirt, he looks amazing.
Yeah. And then he had that fucking cane too at one point, and it's like he didn't have to bring a cane to this, but he did. Fucking amazing.
I mean, when he wears the duster over his shoulders with the shotgun and he throws it off, like that's one of the greatest moments in the history of cinema right there. That's tops. That is tops. I mean, I took so many photos of just the four of them walking.
Yeah.
In front of the sun.
Bill Paxton just lucky to be there at this point.
He's along for the ride. He is along for the ride. It's so funny you say that because in the making, there's just like a brief 20-some minute making of, but I didn't realize that it was Stephen Lang as Ike until I watched the documentary.
Right, me too.
Stephen Lang, the bad guy from the Avatar movies. I was like, wait, what? But he tells this great story of them filming that Ringo, Doc Holliday confrontation indoors where he's doing the cup thing, that was just so funny. And he was like just loving watching it and appreciating what he was seeing. He was like a fan. And he was saying how like, oh, wait, I'm supposed to say a line. And I'm just like focused on watching this scene. Right. Like I screwed up here. It was so fun. And the very brief behind the scenes, I really enjoyed it because it just showed how much everyone really appreciated being in the movie because it was kind of like a complex look at these characters. And the name escapes me. Who played Curly Bill? Powers Booth. Powers Booth talks about, kind of like old man yell at cloud, but he was like, movies made in the 10 years, It's really it's formulaic. It's just like a hero, his girlfriend, and his sidekick. And it's like, what gun does he use to blow away the bad guy? And he was just kind of tickled that you're getting a real movie here with complex characters. Wyatt Earp is, we'll get into it, but like sucking the town dry. And they almost position it as like, what makes Wyatt Earp and his brothers right just because they have a badge? Like, what are they doing that's not illegal compared to these cowboys? So I thought it was pretty cool little insight into how the cast thought the movie was. Pro, what's the top of your list?
Coming back to this movie, I had no idea how good this movie was going to look watching it in 2025. My God, this movie is gorgeous. Especially like the color of everything. It just felt like it like popped off the screen. And then there's like so many like beautiful homages to like classic Westerns, like the scene at the OK Corral with like the close-ups of their faces and like going back and forth, the landscape shots. I mean, there's some shots that they did like at the sunset and just like, listen to the director's commentary, George Cosmatos, where he talks about it. And he talks a lot about how they would wait for certain times of day. And there's like that scene where they first get into Tombstone and Wyatt Earp goes into the casino where Billy Bob Thornton is kind of manhandling the table there. And like the lighting in that scene was just like unbelievable. But I mean, the whole movie to me, it like was blowing my socks off the whole time. And I was like, man, I was an idiot teenager watching this. I had like no idea. I don't think I even like realized what I was watching at that point. So, or maybe it was like, 480p. I don't know. But like watching it now, my God, it is just so gorgeous. I was really blown away by the look of this movie.
Yeah. I mean, the natural light too outside as they're filming this stuff. And I don't know. PK in chat asked if there's a 4K of this. I don't know.
I don't think so, no.
But I mean, Virgil's beard hair. I mean, I don't know if it's just natural light. That's all you need to see every individual. It looked amazing. I felt like I was going to kiss Virgil at various points of this movie. I was like, I could kiss you right now. I see you in front of me. There's so many amazing scenes and the cinematography's off the charts. But like the scene where Bill Paxton dies.
Oh, yes.
And Wyatt has his hands covered in blood and he walks outside in the thunder and lightning. Like, hello. Amazing scene. And then when Curly Bill is shooting at the moon at like the camera, that is like stunning. Everything looked legit as hell in this movie. I feel like a lot of people sleep on this movie, but like visually it's off the charts at least.
It is weird to think about that. We've gotten, people just don't talk about this film, and it really is weird to me. I mean, I haven't seen it since I was a teen, maybe early 20s. And I feel like anytime someone would say, what's your favorite Western? I would say Tombstone, but I haven't seen it in like 20 years. And it still is the one I would go to. But visually, it really is incredible. I wish the documentary went more on either location or sets. To see how things were made. I don't even know where they shot this at, where they built this town.
I think it was right. I think it was near the OK Corral. I think somewhere I heard George say it was like very close to where it actually happened.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was in Tucson. I'm pretty sure they said, or at least in Arizona, that they. Dang. Yeah, they did because it was like they said it was like 110 degrees. During the day.
Allegedly, that was Val's real sweat too. I don't know how accurate. I don't know if that's a lore story.
I mean, probably.
He said he was like dehydrating himself. I don't know what was going on.
Not one person drank water on camera. I don't know anyone survived anything back then.
Why are they wearing black if you're in Tucson, Arizona? Like in like real life. You know what? I think I need to cover myself in all black right now in this sun. That's the solution.
My entire body.
One thing I remember when I thought of Tombstone is that I thought of it as kind of almost like more as like a 90s action movie.
Right.
And maybe that's because like in the early 2000s when Westerns started coming out, the they had like a very gritty, like grounded, everybody's covered in dirt and looked like disgusting. But this, it has kind of like almost like that 90s like clean aesthetic, almost in some ways like reminded me of like The Quick and the Dead a little bit of like the look on, like not cartoonish, but just kind of like that feel. So I think when I thought of this movie, I kind of thought of it in those terms. Like that's how I would remember it. But watching it now, it really honestly reminded me more of like The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly than it does than like The Quick and the Dead. Like to me, this is like a classic Western movie from the 90s. I don't know how you could say it's not at this point.
I can't believe you're saying this because I thought the same. I got worried for a second when we started firing up because I was like, there's no way this is filmed like Quick and the Dead because Sam Raimi is so specific in his style. And I was like, damn, what if it's been so long? What if I don't like this movie? I'm afraid because of my thoughts on Quick and the Dead recently. I'm like, God, I'm going to be so mad at myself. But you're right. It really is. It almost feels like a love letter to the old Clint Eastwood movies or the spaghetti westerns.
You mentioned the music too. I really did love the music. I just felt like it wasn't like specifically Western. It felt like this weird mix of just like really loud orchestral stuff. I tried to see what Bruce Broughton had done otherwise. He was the composer for Moonwalker, Danny.
That's crazy.
And So I Married an Axe Murderer.
Monster Squad. Oh,
Rescuers Down Under.
Okay. Oh, dang. He's done a bunch of Disney stuff.
Yeah. Honey, I Blew Up the Kid.
Okay.
Danny, top of your list.
Top of my list was actually easy. I mean, it is easy to talk about Val, but I was smitten with Kurt Russell. I don't know what it was about him in this one. I think I knew what I was getting with Val. I didn't really remember Kurt. I've just grown to love him so much more as I've gotten more into his career, finally seeing like The Thing and everything else he's kind of worked on. But in this, he has such a commanding presence on the screen. His look is dynamite. His mustache is dynamite. I couldn't get over how good he is. He feels like a natural, and knowing his love for the Wyatt Earp story, how he wanted to bring it to film, you just kind of felt it. You kind of felt him like, I don't know. There's times when, like when people are like not phoning it in, but they're just doing their job and they're doing it well. But there's something about his performance in this where it felt like he really was trying to turn in something great. And give us this Western and give us this story to the best of their ability. And he's just brilliant in it. And towards the end, when he's just, gung-ho at killing everybody with the red sash, I'm levitating at every moment Kurt's on screen. And as much as we loved Val, for me, Kurt kind of stole the show this time around because I wasn't expecting what I got from him, and he's just brilliant. He really is brilliant.
Is Kurt Russell the most underrated actor of all time?
I mean, that's a great question. Maybe, I don't know.
I feel like he gets, he gets respect for being in Big Trouble in Little China, The Thing, but I mean, he's really good. He's really good. I loved him in this movie. He looks amazing. I love the character too. The way he portrays Wyatt Earp, you said him retired at age 32. I love the story of him trying to make it rich, trying to strike it rich in this town with his brothers. He's like, let's enough of this being cops. This is not a statement of being cops, but he's like, let's make some money. Okay. Right. We've had enough. Let's make some money and get out of here. And I love how eventually it turns into like even the sheriff, I think, or the whatever that guy's role was. He's like, you guys are just like sucking money out of this town and these people, and then you're gonna leave. Mm-hmm. And that's essentially what they were doing. You started to really see it unfold over time. But Kurt's like journey through that. I mean, he's also in Tango and Cash, an amazing movie. But I love the character of Wyatt Earp. It's like one of my favorite. I mean, I might put this above The Thing.
Holy shit.
In terms of like my favorite Kurt Russell characters. He's so cool in this movie.
Yeah, I mean, it's really
He's
undeniable.
the coolest dude ever. Like the way he slaps, he pistol whips.
Oh my God.
What's his face? I can't remember his name. He said it earlier. Billy Bob Thornton. He pistol whips Billy Bob Thornton and he like thanks him later when he realizes he's Wyatt Earp.
Yeah.
And he has so many good lines in that moment where he pistol whips him. But everything he does, he's so cool. He beats the crap out of that young cowboy who mouths off to him. He takes his own gun out of his pocket and beats him with it. It's like, and then remember the scene like at Grace in chat, there's at some point Kurt Russell's eyes. Yeah, like he's a gorgeous man. And the scene where he runs into the water to get Curly Bill. And there's just like so many moments like that where he's just got it all, folks. He's got it all.
Mm-hmm. It's also when we watched the making ofs, and I watched some interviews with him. In real life, Kurt, he feels like a genuinely good dude, like someone I would absolutely love to get a drink with and just be like, talk to me about Hollywood and your journey, because I just want a documentary on Kurt Russell, because I just want to listen to him talk for hours, because he's been in it for so long. And I mean, him and Goldie have been together for 40 years. They have 7 grandkids. Like, I'm reading his life and I'm like, God, he's just doing it. And he just seems genuine and he seems like he has fun in everything he does. And I became like super smitten with Kurt.
Mm-hmm.
He's a role model for us. Really.
Yeah.
You know, I love how he, there's like such a good consistency between like the way he portrays Wyatt Earp and I think like the actual character of the character. And I think he does that in his other movie. I think that's like a real gift that he has, where like Wyatt Earp is really portrayed as like this sincere, guy who's really trying to do the right thing. And that's so well communicated through, I think, like the script, but also like the way he just presents himself. And I love the story of just like the love triangle with him and his wife and
Josephine.
And the way that he's trying to do the right thing. Like, he's not skeevy in any way. In the commentary, they said that at that scene where he goes for the ride with Josephine, originally in the script, they were going to kiss to end that scene. And I'm so glad they don't, because I feel like that would have kind of betrayed like really how everything else plays out in the movie, where he's really trying to make it work, even though he goes and has like this daydream with Josephine and like, wow, what my life could be. But then he brings it back to his actual wife and is like, can I have this with her? And just the way he does that with this character, Kurt just nails it throughout the whole movie.
She's too doped up.
Mm-hmm.
Doped up. You mentioned like wanting to hang out with Kurt. And I remember saying this on another movie that we had covered, but the commentaries that he does with John Carpenter are worth people checking out the director commentary. Did you recently start one listening?
Yeah. So while I was sick, I rewatched Big Trouble in Little China, and I started when I couldn't keep my eyes open, I just started listening to that, and it's so good. They're just like the love that John Carpenter and Kurt Russell have for each other, and like for just making movies and the way they can recall events. And then like Kurt Russell's laugh, it's so infectious, and he just seems like the coolest dude to hang out with.
Yeah.
I wish.
Imagine being responsible for making Kurt Russell laugh like that. Like, you could just keel over. That's
a new goal. Me just getting Kurt to laugh at some point in my life.
Oh God. We should talk at some point about the lore behind the production of this movie.
Yeah.
They had the script writer, the guy who wrote it and like really wanted to kind of make it true to life, Kevin Jarre, I guess. This was going to be his first film that he directed, and they filmed for 4 weeks and they fired him. I guess it was just so terrible. Something had happened. So I guess they scrapped all that footage. They brought in George, a seasoned veteran, to come in and film it. And I think there were whispers for years that Kurt Russell was the one who actually directed it. And George Cosmatos died in 2005. So that's when finally Kurt Russell essentially kind of came clean, and Val had started telling stories about Kurt Russell was responsible for that movie getting done and happening at all. But I think due to maybe Directors Guild rules, you couldn't really do anything like that officially. So Val has said that Kurt was sending shot lists to George every morning and was responsible for the majority of the production of the movie, which is kind of mind-blowing to me. And I think Kurt has said it was the most stressful time in his entire life, and he probably would never want to do it again. But if that's true, and he's kind of, really responsible for getting this movie completed in any way, that's even more insane for Kurt Russell, because this is it's visually, it's fantastic. And the story, in my opinion, is amazing. The complex characters. So it seems like from most accounts, Kurt Russell was kind of pulling the strings to make sure this movie even got finished in whatever capacity George did. Maybe he's been called a ghost director. And yes, he was there on set. But who knows? I mean, Val and Kurt have come out and said that it's his thing, that he was responsible for doing it and spending hours every night doing, shot lists. So who knows? Who knows? I mean, that was probably, did you guys know that before I had said it in our DMs?
No, not at all. And I had clicked on George's kind of letterbox to see what else he had done. And I mean, Cobra and Rambo 2 are kind of it for me that I would have seen. So it was kind of mind-blowing that he would be the one that did Tombstone, and I held it in such high regard and not even know the director. But it feels like maybe I don't know the director because he's not talked about because Kurt really did it. I don't know.
I mean, there's no way in my mind that the director of Rambo First Blood Part 2 is the one who's responsible for Tombstone. I had
Even
fun
Cobra.
in Rambo First Blood Part 2, but it's no Tombstone.
Right.
Let's be real.
Right.
Well, it's pretty amazing too that Kurt Russell doesn't have any other director credits. He didn't direct anything. So the fact that he did this while also starring in it, so it's his one shot, I guess. He just did this to get it made because it was his passion project. I mean, I guess that's what passion gets you.
Yeah. I was looking at. I mean, William Fraker is the cinematographer on this, and he did Rosemary's Baby, War Games, Bullet. So I feel like maybe, luckily, they had someone who could shoot a movie in their pocket with directing with them.
Also, in the commentary, Cosmatos said they shot the whole movie in 60 days.
I heard that,
which seems insane to me too.
Man, that's
I
insane.
guess they had the whole set done and they didn't really have to go or break anything down in theory. So maybe that's why it was so short.
Yeah.
Just walk 10 steps and you're at the next location and it's already done. But yeah, that's quick. Pardo, next on your list.
I do love this story too. I was pretty blown away by, I think I don't know if the complexity is the right word, but just the amount of characters that are in this who have meaningful roles, especially the amount of cowboys. There's 4 cowboys who are kind of you could put them as supporting actor roles. They're not just cameos or small, there's a big cast in this. And it's chock full of these characters, but then it's only just over 2 hours. And one thing I would say is that, and I can't think of another movie that made me think of this, but I thought this movie's a little long, but it's long at the beginning of the movie. Normally you would say kind of dragged at the end. I mean, the last hour of this movie, it's you're going at the speed of a bullet, right? So it's it's a little long, but it's like because the beginning has like a lot of like drawing out of the characters and like setting things up. But man, like once the OK Corral scene hits, it's just like nonstop for like the next hour. So I just like love the structure of it. And I love the ending. You know, this has a beautiful denouement at the end of like, you know, everything's kind of wrapped up, but then you have like 20 more minutes of like just them like resolving the relationships between Doc and Josephine. So I just like love the structure of this story so much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love that, and the cast is nuts in this. I mean, we haven't even really mentioned Michael Biehn at all as Ringo. I mean, we mentioned Ringo,
but let's go for it, please.
Sorry, I won't say anything more.
No, go ahead.
No, I don't want to. But yeah, the wrap up, I kind of almost forgot what the ending was of this, because they do like Ike throws away his sash and they just like call it a day after that. I think they're like riding at top speed and they shake hands and then they like leave. Like, what a strange goodbye. But for some reason I always thought like they're just gonna let Ike go. I don't know. I feel like he had chances to quit so often in that movie, and he always came back to try to kill them, or like I'm gonna kill you. But like he throws his sash away and that's it. Come on, let's finish that guy. But yeah, the wrap up and the kind of like, I think it's like an there's a narrator that says what happens right at the end.
Yeah, and that's actually who's the voice of it? It's a Mitchum. What's that guy's first name? The famous actor.
Bill.
It was like,
is it Bill Mitchum? Robert
Mitchum. Yeah. So Cosmatos said in the commentary that he wanted to have Mitchum in the movie. He was actually going to be at the beginning. He was going to be like the leader of the Cowboys, but he was sick and wasn't able to get him on it. But he wanted to have him because Cosmatos like grew up watching his movies and was such a huge fan that he was able to have him as the narrator at the end.
How about the one of my most visceral memories of the ending of this movie is when they talk about like Wyatt's life, and they talk about his funeral in 1929, and then the narrator is like attended by, you know, Hollywood stars and, you know, Western film star Tom Mix, and then he's like, and according to reports, Mix wept at the funeral or sobbed or whatever. It was just like, I remember that moment, like just sticking with me the first time when I was a kid and I saw that. I'm like, oh my God, another man wept at Wyatt Earp's funeral? It just like shook me at the end of the movie. It was just so crazy.
When I was reading over the cast list, there's someone named Wyatt Earp, and it's his fifth cousin is in the movie. He plays,
isn't he in the making
Billy
of?
Claiborne,
right?
He is. I just couldn't believe that someone was an actual Earp in the film, and his name is Wyatt Earp.
Yeah.
The cast list is insane. My next thing was Michael Biehn. Johnny Ringo. I didn't remember the villain in this. I didn't remember that was Michael Biehn. I didn't remember how the story went with him. Once I saw Michael on screen, I was like, did they just cast everyone that would look good as a cowboy in this film? Because he looks incredible to me.
God,
I think his look is dynamite for a villain. And he plays it so well. I mean, I sent you guys a clip of Michael on Rosenbaum's, and I didn't realize where he was at in life these days. But man, his career is bonkers to me as well, but I really found him amazing in this film. He's just such a good bad guy. He really is, and he looked incredible.
It wasn't until you just said that, like, how Michael Biehn looked, but this isn't a statement on this actor, but I was getting like Johnny Depp, like proto Johnny Depp vibes. You could say that about Doc Holliday and Johnny Ringo, that like Johnny Depp has almost like taken
I see what you're saying,
the best parts of like so many of these kind of performances and like turned them into characters, like,
or turned them into himself now. Like,
true. Yeah.
He's just molding himself as in real life.
He's a real life Doc Holliday, Johnny Ringo.
Yeah.
And whoever else, and that's what he is now. Yeah.
I had totally forgotten Charlton Heston was in this.
Jump scare.
Yeah.
Actually, Jason Priestley was a jump scare for me too. I didn't realize he was in this. The people coming out of the woodworks. I mean, Michael Rooker, Terry O'Quinn got me off guard. Billy Bob Thornton, I couldn't remember either. Billy Zane was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Thomas Hayden Church. It just like everyone just kind of showed up in this film. It was amazing.
Yeah. Who's the dude with that mustache? That like
that narrows
nobody
down.
The thing on like the corners of his lips.
Yes.
Like I couldn't tell if I should be, offended by what was happening on that man's upper lip, or like I don't even know how to comment on it now. I feel like I'm uncomfortable even bringing it up, but I had to bring it up, and I hope there was an investigation. I hope there was an investigation done on whatever the dude who had the little things on the corners of his lips. The dude that was like trying to speak Spanish, and then Johnny Ringo corrected him or something.
Oh my God.
I didn't like what I saw. That's all I can say right now.
Cosmato's in the documentary. He said it maybe like 3 or 4 times that every mustache was natural. Everyone grew their own.
Oh, really?
So maybe that's all that guy could grow.
Yeah. How about Dana Delaney as Josephine was Andrea Beaumont in Mask of the Phantasm?
Really?
Hello.
What the? Unbelievable. She's one of my points was going to be her, but I don't know if anyone of you had chosen her.
No, go for it.
Did I have anything else on Ringo? I mean, one of my notes was, how about Ringo walking around with a bullet in his brain at the end of this movie? Like, unsettling death scene where he's just stumbling around for a little bit still after he got shot in the skull. But Josephine, Dana Delaney, I made a gag, letterboxd review, but I put in my notes like Josephine looking at Wyatt like Padme when she found out Anakin killed all those Tusken Raiders and their kids. Like she saw Wyatt Earp in that theater and she knew. She was ready and it was happening.
Yeah.
And she was going to get it. There was just like something I did love when like they locked eyes and there's just some kind of force connecting the two of them. And I loved him being almost like stunned by this free spirited woman that wasn't kind of the type of woman that he's used to. Like, I need to find a wife. We need to have kids. And look how that treated his wife. Didn't treat her very well. But like, I loved him kind of being so fascinated by that. And you have to think like, if you're a successful man like that, it's got to just like rock your world at that time, seeing and meeting and interacting with an attractive woman like that. It's like, what? You're not just like some housewife? You do your own thing. You travel the world. You want to get room service? Like, huh? Like he was, like with good cause. Like he had to have been like just totally enraptured by her. So I loved her in this movie. I thought she was great. You guys hated her.
Yeah.
Sorry, I thought.
No. I liked her as well. I mean, again, just like another great character who is like, like well developed and, their relationship and like the way she like everything that comes out of her mouth just like shocks Wyatt into silence. She's just like,
yeah, when she's like, "What do you want in life?" He's like, "Where you get a question like that? You can't. What? What a strange question you got."
When they're on the horses and he says, "That mare's in season." Like,
oh my
dang.
God.
Let's run it out of them.
Proto, next on your list, final point, maybe?
Oh well, we kind of mentioned it earlier, but like watching this, the whole idea that like these brothers are the quote unquote good guys, when it's like, here, this town, from from like what we can see, like maybe the Cowboys were up to like more nefarious things than what we're seeing.
Wedding.
That's true. That's true.
A little bit
But-
nefarious.
That was a different town. That was a different
Hold
town,
on.
though.
That was revenge, though, because those guys killed some red sashes. So,
That's
I mean,
true.
eye for an eye, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So here come these three brothers. They start disrupting the town. They put on badges, and then suddenly they say you can't carry a gun in town. I mean, it's just kind of like these three guys walking into town and kind of taking over and just like making this rule that like, what is the most disruptive thing that you could do in the West? And probably like the most like I mean, how fearful you would be as a person at that time to not be able to carry a gun when people are getting shot like all the time. So like these guys come and make this rule, and then they go and confront the guys at the OK Corral and pretty much, you know, they set it all off.
Yeah.
So in a lot of ways, when you look at this movie, it's kind of like, I mean, who really is the good guy? Who is the bad guy at the end of the day? Because ultimately they're also, I mean, they're playing the same game, right?
Yeah.
They're running a casino. They're just like, you know, siphoning money off of just like the townspeople. And they're even talking about like how much money they can make here. So, I mean, yeah, they dress better, but are they really better?
Right. That's true. I mean, was this early fascism at the OK Corral?
Great question.
I mean, they make it sound like they got rich in a week. They're
I
like,
mean,
we're
it was
almost,
quick.
we almost got what we came here for, boys. We're going to be set after this week. I couldn't believe how quickly they were making money. And maybe that was just the passage of time wasn't really shown very well. But yeah, it definitely was like more evident later in the movie how like they're just there to get rich. You know?
I kept thinking, like, why are people still playing at their tables?
True. I guess
Stop
like
playing at their tables.
what else do you even do in town there? Like, honestly, besides like swing a gun around and get drunk.
Wasn't it a gold mining town?
Yeah. There was an opium
I did
den,
read,
too.
coincidentally, I was watching like a bunch of magic card tricks this week.
Okay.
And one of them, he actually talked about the game of Pharaoh because there's a card trick or a way of shuffling or something that's called Pharaoh Shuffle, I think. And he said like, and that's like the game they were playing in there. And he said that they actually, you don't see this game at casinos anymore because the house would always lose money.
Oh my gosh.
Because it was like too much of a fair game between the house and whoever's playing. So like it was really popular in the West, but like now it like just doesn't exist anymore because it's not good for casinos. And I thought that was kind of interesting.
Danny, final point.
I don't think I have anything else to talk about.
Menchie's. I'm in my
Menchie's.
prime.
I mean, yeah, any line from Doc Holliday. No Menchie's, 5 stars. I love this film. It's still my favorite Western. And it really is because of Val and Kurt. I don't know. Any negative review, I'm just like, I don't know. I don't know what you want out of a Western if you don't like this film. But it just kind of rocks my world when people don't like this movie. And it's one of those ones that does it to me. I just don't understand because I love it so much.
How about Catherine Hardwicke as the production designer for this movie?
Really?
Catherine Hardwicke of Twilight, director. She's also the production designer of Vanilla Sky. Another Kurt Russell
Interesting
vehicle. Well, he's in it. He's not the star.
I mean, depends on who you ask at this point.
He's great. I mean, he's great in that as well.
When?
When are we doing another Faves month? That's the question.
That's a great question.
I'm ready.
Yeah, she's in the making of talking about, you know, getting the costumes right and setting everything up. And it said like Catherine Hardwicke, production designer. And I was like, wait a minute. Huh? Sure enough. Show enough.
I need to reshuffle my faves if we do this. I think we've covered all mine.
My Menchie's. Bean looks incredible. I mean, and Hell followed with him. I mean, that whole thing, that speech about like, you know, dressed in black. Oh my God. Amazing.
Oh, yeah.
I already have a guilty conscience. Might as well have the money too. Are we cross? He stabs that guy. Amazing. One of my notes was like, why didn't everyone just steal? If you're in this town, like, you have a gun. Shouldn't you just see? Isn't there just a constant theft and like robberies at this point? Lawless. You gonna do something or you're just gonna stand there and bleed? I forgot about Billy Zane until he appeared. God, he looked amazing.
He did.
When are we gonna do The Phantom?
Oh my God.
That should have been a franchise. Virgil. We haven't really talked about Virgil too much. Sam Elliott, amazing. It was like he was born for this role. God, his voice. His mustache was nuts.
Him walking to the OK Corral holding a cane. Like, my dude is going to a gunfight and he's main-handing a cane. It's amazing.
I also liked his like conscience battle, you know, until eventually he decides to become sheriff. What was Jason Priestley's role? Was he like the fake marshal's assistant? Because he had a badge. He was like a deputy. I never could quite understand what his role was.
Like the treasurer.
Yeah, it's a little confusing.
The town secretary.
He needs a badge for that?
I need a badge.
Poker playing dog. There was one scene where the dog was like sitting at the table with him. I think it was when Virgil walked in after he was shot. Hell's coming with me. Ay caramba. Wyatt is my friend.
Yeah, I wish there was like a prequel. As much as we do prequels now, I would love like early relationship Wyatt and Doc kind of movie. Does that exist? Have I missed out on this?
Hold on. I got
You got the juice?
I got a casting for this one. What if Chris Pratt as Wyatt Earp?
Okay.
And
with this
Finn
podcast.
Wolfhard as
I'm done. I am
Doc
absolutely
Holliday.
finished with you. Can you hit the yikes button, please?
I refuse. I mean, was Kurt Russell the Chris Pratt of his day?
Okay. You know,
we should all just take a moment real quick. I have to say, we should all be thankful that social media did not exist in the 80s and the 90s for our celebrities. Who knows what our favorite celebrities would have been tweeting up or posting photos of? It's best that we don't know.
Agree.
Speech over. 5 stars.
Yeah.
Incredible movie. Nostalgia fog, but it holds up in IMO.
Who cares?
Holds up for Val. Proto?
Why, Ike, whatever do you mean? He also, at the beginning, I think when the guy accuses him of cheating, he says, how lewd. Frederick effing Chopin. Yeah, man, Doc Holliday, his scenes are just so good. I mean, the fear of God in Ringo's eyes when Doc comes out of the shadows.
Oh,
yeah.
I remember it being like, I remember the first time seeing this and it being him and being like, oh. Another great line when they're talking about Wyatt and Doc says, he needs revenge. They said, for what? For being born.
what a line.
The strain was more than he could bear. Oh, man. Yeah. I'm at 5 stars as well.
Let's go.
I mean,
Yes.
I was like, yeah, again, I'm just like shocked at how good this movie looks. And just the story is so good. I just love this more than I thought. Like, I'm blown away by this movie.
Hell yeah.
I feel like we really need to do a Westerns month.
We told the story. We ended it with Tombstone. Do we need to do another Western after Tombstone? Do they even make any other ones?
We could just do
Tombstone?
it again.
Well, I mean, Tampopo is technically a noodle Western.
That's true.
Is Producers a Western?
Yes. Yeah.
Is Producers a Western?
Goated Western. It has Nazis.
I did remember, I think someone in chat said that there's like a pre-order for Tombstone 4K that was announced recently. So, I mean, I thought it looked amazing. I don't know what it would look like in 4K. I'll rewatch it when that comes out, but I wasn't like clamoring for, man, I wish this was in 4K. I thought it looked gorgeous.
Yeah.
Stunning stuff.
Slim with a layup pick this week. Well done.
Thank you. Orbit pre-order link just got dropped by Eric. UHD Steelbook.
I don't buy Steelbooks.
It's only $40 though. I feel like that's pretty good for a Steelbook, right? I don't know. I don't buy usually Steelbooks.
Yeah, I don't buy
I think I bought a Mission Impossible Fallout Steelbook, and then Amanda threw it out, and she put like my 4Ks in like a CD booklet.
Oh
sleeve.
no!
I was like, where was the case for that? Where'd that go? It was a dark day. We do have some voicemails to get to, and letters, I think.
It's been
I'm
a while.
not sure if a ton were related to... Where the heck is my Gmail? To Val. We did have at least one. And there's one about Hogtober, which we'll get to. Noah sent in a letter. Val, rest in peace, subject line. Honestly, it's crazy that the week you guys decided to do Tombstone, Val Kilmer very sadly passes away. If you guys truly have the power to kill people, I know some great movies you guys haven't done yet. I'm just kidding. Anyway, I love this movie, and I can't wait to hear Proto absolutely dog on it. Back to Val, I will say with his passing, it will make his moments in Top Gun Maverick even more meaningful and sad. Yeah. Okay, last thing. Review Back to the Future. Just wait till after this killing people thing because I can't lose my king, Michael J. Fox. That's from Noah.
Sorry, Noah.
Back to the Future when?
It's a good question.
That's a
we could do the third one in Western month.
Oh my God. Dud.
Oh.
Subject line, I support Hogtober.
Okay.
From Samuel. Let's show some love for the hogs of the world. There's a lot of Swedish movies from the 70s and 80s with a lot of people slanging full frontal hogs.
Gosh.
Thanks, Sam. Next email. Hogtober, yes, please. From Jacqueline in Seattle. Jacquelina. All right. Just clarification. Jacquelina in the ending of the email, but Jacqueline in the Gmail portion. It's not my fault, folks. That's all I'm going to say.
Jacquelina.
Anyway, back to the Hogtober. Guys, sounds so fun. I hope it happens. Love, Jacqueline in Seattle.
Okay.
So we have proposed Hogtober. I don't know what episode we talked about it.
It's like 6 weeks ago.
If you guys... yeah, it's a recording. If you guys want us to do Hogtober, let us know. We need you to support the idea.
Yeah.
And tell us that it's real because we thought we had support for Sexual Michael Douglas Month.
Yeah, it's not a real support.
And that was a complete fabrication from our community. We put it to a vote and it didn't win. So
somehow this feels like they're setting us up to get canceled.
Let's see if it survives for a couple more months. Because I think HBO Max is really trying to normalize hog right now. I mean, I've been watching some of those shows.
You watching?
I mean,
what are you watching?
Righteous Gemstones. I mean, the things that Walton Goggins is doing right now on Max. Please be safe.
The Walton Goggins Network, Max. There was another email. Let's see. There was one about the French Connection.
Oh.
I'll read some of this letter from Benito. The French Connection digital controversy. I can't begin to tell you how much I've enjoyed your podcast the last few years. I'm 100% sure there have been numerous drivers around me on my mind-numbing commute wondering, man, that guy really is listening to something funny while I joke or laugh in my car. I'm excited to hear your thoughts on the French Connection. This was one of the movies I saw in my late teens that opened my eyes to 70s-style gritty filmmaking right up Proto's alley. It continues to have an impact in my film watching currently, but in a different way. This is a film that initiated my change to start purchasing physical media again.
Hell yes.
I used to love the ease of watching movies digitally, but then the uproar over changes made to the digital version of The French Connection recently reverted my purchasing habits back to physical media. There's a link to the controversy, which I'll drop in chat. I think there's a scene, I don't remember it in my viewing, but there's essentially a scene where I think Popeye, played by Gene Hackman, rest in peace, Gene, says the N-word or something similar to that. I think in one of those scenes. And I think it's been removed from digital versions. Benito goes on, it just seems like such an egregious deletion. The obscenely racist statement from Popeye was totally in character. He's a piece of cop, and this reinforces it. And it really bothered me that a company could make that kind of change so quickly to something you supposedly own. So wondering which version you watched, was it in there or not? How do you guys primarily purchase physical versus digital media? Thanks for all you do, Benito.
I meant to look it up because I expected it because I remember it, but then I was like, it wasn't in the version I watched, so I assumed I got the wrong Gene Hackman movie and thought he said it in like The Conversation or something.
Yeah.
So I didn't even bother.
I remember that too. Like I had a vague memory. I was like, wait, didn't he say something worse in this scene?
Yeah.
It didn't happen. I purchase both. It really depends. If there's like a really nice kind of like updated release of something that I love, I'll get the physical and never touch it. I would love to do. I wonder if anyone's done a really like wide-reaching survey of any physical media purchases. Like, what percentage just never get touched and just put on a shelf? Honestly, right? Just anecdotally, from the Bat and Spider podcast, our Discord, are people really opening those discs up? Not saying you have to, but just an observation. Party, you go to the library sometimes. You support your local library.
Well, I don't really go to my library for DVDs because they charge money. It's like $1 a disc.
Oh my gosh.
Which is more than I can bear. But I have a friend who is a librarian, and they are in a good network, so they can pretty much get me any disc. So like when I did my AFI journey and my Criterion challenge, if there was a really hard disc to get, I would get it from them. But usually that's really the motivator for me, is if I'm trying to do a challenge or watch a certain movie for some reason and it's just not streaming anywhere. At that point, I'll want to buy a physical copy of it just because it's like, hey, this is a hard movie to get. And then when I have what I have in my collection, I like to think of that like, oh, I kind of have these difficult movies to get. If I have a friend who wants to see it and I'm talking to them about, I can just give it to them to watch. I think that's really like the joy of having a physical collection, is that you can just share it with your friends. Yeah,
when we did the Lake House trip, I brought The Keep disc for Art to watch, and then he mailed it back to me. And I mean, I mentioned the Patreon, but I did one of my worst unboxings ever for this Brutalist 4K that I got while I was out on assignment. I had to snatch that up. Movie of the year. Yeah. Some people have said. Filmed in VistaVision. Let's see. Do we have any other ones? I don't think so. Let us know your Hogtober thoughts, folks.
You said there's a voicemail?
I mean, Jacqueline sent an attachment, and it was a nude pig with the word yes on its ass. I'll put that in chat as well for safekeeping. Jacqueline, I feel like you'd enjoy our Discord. I feel like you should join our Patreon and talk about Hogtober.
Yeah.
But next week, I think it's Danny's pick, right? What was your pick again for
the producers? Let me pull it up on Letterboxd. Nathan Lane, Matthew Broderick, Uma Thurman, Will Ferrell. The producers, Letterboxd. This one is also directed by Susan Stroman. And it is going to be interesting. I've seen it once, and it was forever ago. and I think I liked it. I know I love Nathan Lane. I know I love Matthew Broderick, and I know I love Uma Thurman. So
what could go wrong?
What could go wrong? You know, perfect trio. It was, so for Tape Deck Month, it was covered by our friends at ADP, Austin Danger Pod. Kenzo gave it 5 stars. Kev gave it 3 stars. Fantastic episode of theirs. So I'm looking for us to talk about it, 3 of us, because neither of you have seen it.
No.
And
excited.
So this could be interesting.
Matthew Broderick hasn't been on the show since 2023 Godzilla.
We got to do Matthew right. I don't think that produces it either. Ferris Bueller's Win.
Could that be?
What was that noise you just made?
I don't know what that noise was. It was like a weird chuckle. I was going to suggest could Ferris Bueller's Day Off be a meetup movie?
That's well, maybe we should save that for when we meet up in Chicago.
Oh.
That could be like our tentative Chicago meetup movie. And then when we're done, we go to all the filming locations.
Okay. You're orchestrating this? You're in charge of this? You're volunteering?
I'll have like a flag, like a felt flag. And I'll walk around.
We can jump through the backyards.
Yep. We'll be running through the backyards. Art museum.
It'd be funny if you're wearing his outfit from that movie. Like
easy
tour.
peasy.
I'll be the dude wearing the Detroit Red Wings jersey. Whoever that guy is.
I'll be the principal.
Nope. I don't think you remember who the principal is.
And then maybe you had like dog shit on your shoe for the entirety of the tour. Okay, so Tape Deck Month is off and running. Proto, any closing thoughts this week?
Well, you mentioned it earlier, but I just wanted to give a shout out to our unboxing collection on our Patreon. If you think we only do cover movies, folks, we cover much more. And our unboxing collection's some of the stupidest stuff we've probably produced. But I went back, I was watching some of those after the one you put out. Gosh, there's some turds in there, but there's some gems too. So it's a good time.
Folks, you're missing out. You just know you're missing out on what we're doing over here. We'll see everybody next week for the producers. $70mm is a tape deck production featuring original artwork provided by Danny Haas. Spiritual guidance and V'ger, the robot who loves movies, provided by Pertalexis. Producer at large Dale_A. And music composed by Cinematric. Prints and other merch are available on 70mmpod.com. This episode was mixed, edited, and produced by me, Slim. Support our Patreon for access to our VHS Village Discord to talk movies with new friends, access to our exclusive episodes in the 70mm vault, discounts on merch, uncut episodes, and a physical membership card mailed to you. To check out other Tape Deck podcasts, find the link in the episode notes. And if you'd like to support our friends at Letterboxd and upgrade to pro or patron status, you can do so with a 20% off discount using the links on 70mmpod.com. Goodbye.
This is a Tape Deck podcast.